Okay, Brandon. Brandon, this is for you. If we lost connection again, would you just kick off your presentation for the Talon?
Will do.
To the audience. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rafael Quintero. I'm the international sales and marketing for McElroy. We're this morning for us and evening for you guys, or afternoon for you guys, spending some time to show you about the TracStar iSeries. And we're also going to talk a little bit about our big machine, the Talon 2000. I wanted to appreciate to the guild that is giving us this opportunity. Kate and Catherine has been very helpful. And with me today is Chris Greggs. Chris is maybe one of the most experienced person here in Mac right now. He has been with us for 30 years, being in sales, marketing, product development, engineering, and he's now the product manager for the iSeries. The iSeries is a key product for McElroy, as he will explain. And he basically knows not only everything about the machine itself, the design, the performance, but also the status of everything related to the iSeries. What is the
I feel that technology is not on our side today.
Apologies to everyone. I'm going to give these guys just a few seconds. If they don't come back, I think I'll jump over and talk about Talon and give them a chance to hopefully root out their issues.
Not that it helps everybody on the call, but the test run went perfectly.
Okay, why don't I do that? I'm going to jump over here, guys, and we're going to, ladies and gents on the call, we're going to talk Talon. We're going to start this off talking Talon. Let me share my screen. Apologies to all. Okay. So,
Kate, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, we've got Brandon's slide deck on, but
you guys want to come back in, Rafa?
I'll tell you in a minute. Kate, can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
So real quick, she'll make Anthony Alvarez Brandon can quick start, but she'll make Anthony
Hey, Brandon, would you go ahead and start with the Talon? And
yep, will do.
Apologize with the audience for this little inconvenience. And Kate, would you make Anthony co-host, please?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Okay. All right, let's kick this off. So as Rafa was about to get in to talking about iSeries, you know, he would have been talking about this new line of TracStars that has, you know, the I in the name for intelligence and integrated data logging, many features that really originated on the Talon machine back in 2013. So you could say this was our original iSeries machine. Obviously, it's branded as the Talon because of its unique feature that it can pick pipe up from the ground. And just really wanted to showcase it today for a little bit of time we have here, especially a job that I was able to get to last year out in Alaska. So while many of us were quarantining last year, I was able to spend a month out in the wilds of Alaska on a really, really neat job site that I'm wanting to show you guys. So there's a few of these machines out in the world now, and they've been on some really cool job sites. On your left here, you see a job in California on an almond farm for some irrigation. And on the right, you see a job in Australia, a sewage job that did 1,800 millimeter pipe. Here's a job at the largest copper mine in the world in Chile. And here's another job in the US for a large slurry line. This job was unique in that we were able to prove that the machine could track around bends like this, but as you've noticed, most of these jobs were long straight runs. So what was really unique about this job we were able to do in Alaska was not only the grades that we saw, but the corners, the tight confines of the area to do fusion. This was literally a road that was blasted out of the mountain with very confined space to go up and down the mountain, and really allowed Talon to show what it was made of. We saw grades up to 18% fusing downhill, 15% uphill, and you guys can really get a feel from this picture on the left of the corners that we saw when going up this mountain. So let's talk about this project a little bit. This is a hydroelectric facility. Alaska has nearly 50. This Bradley Lake dam was built back in the late 80s into early 90s. However, even though Alaska is the lowest population density state in the United States at around only about 800,000 people, hydroelectric power generation still provides very small percentage of the total power need there. And obviously is one of the lowest cost energy available. And with that in mind, obviously they're always looking to expand capacity. So this project was about expanding the capacity in that lake by going up the mountains for this glacier runoff and capturing some of it that ran down the backside of Battle Creek. Diverting a portion of that water. They weren't able to divert all the water. Some of it has to be kept for fish, the fish wildlife. This is the area that you would be familiar with seeing all the salmon fishing that happens. Lots of crab fishing happens in this area. This is down off the Kenai Peninsula in Alaska. So this project was to build that dam up in the mountains, and this pipeline, this is 1600 millimeter DR21 pipe to pipe this runoff to the lake and add capacity. Now, when I talk about this project, obviously we like to brag about Talon performance, but most people want to hear about wildlife. And so some of you may have seen this picture of this bear on site that we call the bear inspector, but the black bears particularly were definitely a big part of this job. They were definitely a nuisance and scavengers on the site. Luckily, we didn't have too many run-ins with any large brown bears, although they were around. The pipeline itself is designed to be shallow buried up against the mountain. However, there's a large section that was completely buried to allow wildlife crossing between the valleys. But let's jump back to what we're really here to talk about, and that's how Talon was able to be productive on this job site. So at the bottom of this photo, you can kind of see what I've tried to illustrate here is the typical machine setup where you really have a lot of manhandling or machine handling, if you would, of the pipe to get the pipe where it needs to be. And that's the big advantage of this Talon machine, being able to grab the pipe from the ground, keep these large diameter pipes low to the ground, be able to move to where the pipe is at. And that's not to say you don't need the equipment to handle the pipe, but that is to say you need a lot less, and it's much safer because you're keeping the pipe low and not lifting overhead. So let's talk about the kind of productivity we're able to see on a job site like this. So to kind of orient you here, this is joints per day graph. The green bars being joints, and obviously some of those days we weren't fusing due to moving things up and down the mountain where we had to be out of the roadway. But to kind of give you a quick overview here, if you took all the days we fused within the 2 months that we were doing fusions, We did 155 total on the Talon, and we're able to average about 4 joints a day on average, with many days up to 5 and 6 joints a day. And so, guys, that's just kind of a quick overview of Talon and its capabilities. We just wanted to showcase this really nice job that we were able to do in Alaska. And with that, I'm hoping that the guys are back on and we can kick it over back to them and talk iSeries.
Are we back, Kate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're all good.
Great.
Cool.
Great.
Okay, apologize everybody. We have a little technical issue here, but we're back. Just in case I'm doing this short introduction again, my name is Rafael Quintero. I'm the International Sales Manager with McElroy. And with me today is Chris Greggs, which is the product manager for the iSeries. And Chris has been with us for 30 years, so he has been involved in many of these projects, like the TracStar from the beginning. He is now the person that knows more about this machine, not only about the operation, about the technical details, but also what is going on around with the machine. Is it there, what are the lead times, where the machine goes, which country, how many we have in line, all these details. So, and we just had Brandon, thank you so much, Brandon cover us with these issues. And we wanna give you an idea of the Talon job in Alaska and some other experience we have with this machine. But again, the main thing this morning is telling you about the iSeries machine, which we believe is gonna be a great new product for the UK and Ireland. And without you, I let Chris tell us a little bit about this and what is this iSeries? What is the I means?
Well, Rafa, that's a great question. Brandon kicked his presentation off with a reference to some of what we've learned through our experience with the Talon has become integrated into the new iSeries TracStar. And the I really represents the transition of the TracStar to this new platform. We have had the TracStar machines for about 25 years now, and they have proven to be invaluable. Self-contained, mobility, highly productive, but first and foremost, they're McElroy machines. So they're rugged, dependable, and very robust in build. And combining with that is the Data Logger 7 tablet, which is an Android device that really serves as the operator interface for the iSeries platform. We've integrated these things together in a way that enables us to do some things that really we've never been able to do before, revolutionizing the user experience and the performance of the iSeries machines.
I'm gonna ask you to go around the machine and tell us all the features, at least, you know, a view of all of them. But I also wanna tell you, we have also connected Malcolm Profik. He runs our operation in the UK from Milton Keynes. And hopefully we may have in the audience Keith Moll. Keith was a huge part of this product. He was the one that brought to McElroy the needs of the automatic machines in the 90s. And he retired last year, but again, Keith Moll and Malcolm are joining us for the UK, and we have Malcolm that can reply any other questions related to the UK market. So tell us a little bit about you know, all the details that you can share.
Right. Well, over on the vehicle, I'll start. We have an operator's panel. Think of this as an electronic version of the dashboard on your car. This is where the operator can monitor and get feedback from performance of many aspects of the machine. Engine RPM, hydraulic pressure, scheduled maintenance, many things in addition to fuel voltage, GFCI performance, things of that nature. There's also an e-stop over there. And this is the beginning of a communication network incorporating the data logger 7, we call CAN communication. And this CAN communication enables the machine to talk to various functions within itself and the fusion operator. So we've got the vehicle talking to the fusion machine prompting the operator for perhaps the next move in the process, in something we call the Fusion Guide Control System. This is a system really that can enable the machine to communicate with the operator to guide the operator through the process of fusion, getting newer users up to speed faster and performing at a more consistent level, and also freeing up operators with more experience to perform other functions on the job sites to increase productivity. You may notice on this machine, the pipe lifts have now been moved both outboard of the carriage. They're mounted on the vehicle. We have electronic keypads as an interface for many of the functions. These are also LED backlit and have motion capabilities, so we can direct the operator's eye towards the next keypad push or the next operation. If you're familiar with actually fusing pipe on a McElroy machine, these controls are all very intuitively placed so that if you're used to operating any McElroy machine, your muscle memory that you've developed over the years will still be there for you on the iSeries. So if you want to raise a pipe lift, you'll go to actually the same location that you would on a more traditional or previous version of a TracStar. Carriage control is the same. But in this case, we've got proportional paddle levers to perform functions like driving the tracks or moving the indexing carriage left and right, or even the carriage functions. The proportional paddle levers give us a very precise feel, and I mentioned originally that user experience. It gives you a much better feel and controllability of those hydraulic functions.
And that's something here on the paddle. What about the colors? How does help with the safety?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of safety aspects that we could discuss here, Rafa, from the e-stop over on the vehicle. We've got another e-stop here at the operator station, and actually the capabilities to incorporate 2 additional e-stops on this machine already accounted for in our wiring harness. From a safety standpoint, we could add a tracking beacon on the vehicle, for example, if that was a requirement of a particular job site. Again, already incorporated into the wiring harness. You may notice the proportional paddle levers here are all recessed. So the indexing carriage functions, and tracking functions, you won't have any type of incidental bump or movement in the machine. Also here in the operator side, we've got an engine start-stop, so we can shut down the functions of the engine. Also a hydraulic lockout, which is going to prevent any hydraulic movement. It's very useful if we're doing things like clearing chips from between the fixed and movable carriage. And then on the other side of the machine, we won't go over there, but we've got electric lockout, starter lockout, and actually an auxiliary battery connection for charging. So you don't have to get into the machine. It's all been very conveniently located and well thought out. GFCI protection, as I mentioned in the opening, as well as circuit breaker protection.
In regards to the Fusion Guide, you mentioned earlier about the 3 different ways of fusion you have with this machine.
Yeah, the Fusion Guide control system is really unique, and we're excited about this. It offers 3 levels of fusion control. Level 1 being manual fusion, more traditional fusion. Level 2 is enhanced guided workflow, which is going to prompt the operator through many of the functions, and it provides a little more machine control. And then level 3 is fully automatic. Now, I will mention that in all 3 of these levels, we've taken some of the fusion function and really simplified it by think of things like calculating drag, for example.
Mhm.
That's done automatically on the iSeries machines. Drag calculation is done automatically, and we know from a training perspective that can be an issue that takes more time for an operator to really grasp. The other thing that's done automatically is what?
The drag pressure, so you just mentioned.
Yeah, drag calculation. Oh, the shift sequence.
Yeah.
So for our people using automated machines, it isn't such a big deal, but if you would be a level 1 or level 2 user, there is the shift sequence in the hydraulic valving that we're doing automatically in all 3 levels. So we've given some level of automation really to all 3 levels, but we're enabling the operator to select the function that best suits their needs, their skill levels, and the requirements of the job site.
Okay. And one thing that is interesting here is that in the UK, the automatic machine is the standard. Here in the US, we were more towards what we call the level 1. And level 3 on this machine, which is fully automatic, is exactly what we have done in the US from the 90s. So, but the fact that we have the drag pressure always calculated by the machine is being a big deal for us, because there's many issues sometimes in the operation when the operator, he assumed the same drag pressure in every joint, and this change every time, or this can change every time. So the shift sequence is something that is very normal standard for you, but the calculation of the drag pressure is being very well accepted by our customers here.
Yeah, Rafa, you bring up a good point. We have been building automatic machines since the mid-90s, really, and supplying many of them to the market in the UK and Europe. But if we think historically, those have been sort of specialized machines for us. We're experienced building them. They're great machines, but they've supplied sort of a unique market in the UK. With the iSeries machine now being our standard platform across the large diameter TracStar line, it really opens up some opportunities for the UK market.
Definitely, yeah.
In that there is no longer a special machine, it's just another machine. So it provides better availability, better technical support availability, and then there's a secondary market out there when they're finished with the machine. Really opens up a global network for turning those machines over or acquiring new machines.
Yeah, true. Basically, what Chris is saying is you guys are not special anymore.
Special in our hearts.
But again, it opened up a really good market, and that happened a lot in other regions. When you can sell machines, when you want to renew your fleet, you can send machines even in another country. The machines that we used to use in the UK and Ireland were very much for this market. So if you want to sell it in Africa or in Australia or in South America, you have to go to this conversion and bring this machine to standard rather than automatic. So what else we have here, Chris?
Well, there's a lot going on in the machine that has to do with building in, you know, an even sturdier platform for hydraulics and electrical. I don't know if you can see any of the hydraulic hard lines that have been introduced into the machine where we could use hard lines. We've done so where regular tubing hydraulic lines is better, where you need movement. We've incorporated that, which are sheathed in the electrical system. All of the connections are sealed and secure. The wiring harnesses are nylon braid wrapped, and then when they go into something like this energy chain, they're also introduced into a conduit, which is then again nylon braid wrapped. So we've built in a lot of durability into this machine that really is going to enhance the overall experience, lower maintenance costs, and really we're excited to get this into the field.
Okay, for those that are already familiar with the TracStar 900 Series 2, we have the same tough phaser, heater, basically jaws. It's a hydraulic system. similar capacity?
It's similar, and I will mention that it's consistent. This is the same electrical and hydraulic system through the TracStar 630i,
Mhm.
the TracStar 900i, which we're looking at here, and the TracStar 1200i. We've also increased the available hydraulic pressure up to 3,200 PSI. So we're able to essentially pull more pipe or do more work on the job site.
Okay. And now that Chris mentioned that, there is a lot of parts in common with the 630, the 900, and the 1200, mainly in the phaser and the index, and that's really convenient for those who have large fleets. Another thing, on the data logger, we have all these communications capabilities and all this. What else we can do in the data logger that is not necessarily related to the fusion itself?
Right,
It's
right.
like a training. I mean, people go on internet, YouTube, TikTok. I mean, what can you do with the data logger?
Yeah, well, the data logger, as I mentioned, is an Android tablet. It's very rugged, IP68 rated. It has a mil spec associated with it for drop. And what we found was with the launch of the Data Logger 7, contractors were using it for more and more functions outside of actually logging data. We've got so much processing power in this tablet. They could run full business suite applications. They could use it for project management, estimating, time logging, GPS functions to access a job site. Many functions can run on this Android tablet, just like a laptop or mobile computer. This is really a
I
mobile
can watch the games
computing
from the
device.
Premier League.
Yeah, actually, YouTube, Zoom. Many contractors we're seeing now migrating to use of the data logger device as the primary field computing asset for their teams in the field. This also enables us to do something that's very unique regarding the iSeries, and that is as we continue to refine and make improvements in the software associated with the iSeries, we can actually push updates to your machine over the air through the data logger, okay? So this will just come to you like an app on your phone. It's time for an update. There's new information available. You can push that update to the iSeries and take advantage of those improvements immediately. Not like taking your car into a dealership when it's time for an update. There's no special tools, no special requirements. It's literally as easy as updating an app on your phone.
Cool. Nice. Well, we're about to wrap up here a little bit and open for questions. What else, Chris, we need to cover here? Tracks, do we have any changes on the tracks? Or?
Well, the tracks are more or less the same, but we've actually changed the direction on the tracks. So we've reversed the tracks, if you will. If you think about it in our normal phase of operation, where before on previous models, we were actually pushing the track. Now we're pulling the track, which is just a more efficient way of operating, gives you better performance in the tracking.
Another thing I want to mention is the new design of the cowlings. It's not only that looks really cool, but also it's so easy to access all the service points. And again, we can follow up after this and send more information, videos, whatever you guys need, just reach out to us. But it's so easy to open, get to the oil change or, filters, whatever you need to do on the service side. Is very friendly and easy to open the cowlings now.
Yeah, service access is all, as Rafa mentioned, conveniently located on the opposite side of the machine. And Perkins diesel power is what we're supplying this machine, which we've been very pleased with, and also gives us quieter operation of the machine.
Okay. Well, I think we have covered. I think this is what we want to give you guys, an introduction of the iSeries. Again, we don't wanna get this too long and lost you guys, but more open for questions. And again, you can reach out anytime. Chris, I, or Malcolm in the UK, we can send you any more information, videos. We have our what we call the Macro University. We have all these trainings available in video, and we can do customs trainings for companies, whatever you guys need if you're interested in this.
Yeah. Do we have some questions?
Uh,
Yeah, we do. We've got a few coming in.
okay.
So, first question is, can you, and you'll need to repeat this because they probably can't hear me since I'm not mic'd up. The question is around the data logger, and there's a couple that are related. So, is it required? Can I run the machine without it? So, if you'll repeat the question.
Okay. The question is around the data logger. Is it required? Can you run the machine without it? Things of that nature. Some functions of the machine will work without the data logger, but the data logger is required for the fusion functions. Okay, this is kind of the brains of the operation here that's going to talk to controllers on the fusion carriage and the vehicle, coordinate the activities, and allow the proportional paddle levers and keypads to give operator input into the system. So it is required for fusion. It is supplied with the machine. So this isn't another accessory. This is something that's just integral part integrated into the iSeries platform. But this isn't a unique data logger. Any data logger 7 has the capabilities to work on an iSeries machine.
Okay.
When you connect the data logger, any data logger 7 to an iSeries machine, the iSeries software will just wake up and it will be prepared to.
And stay charged, right?
Yeah, it always stays
connected.
charged. It's actually taking power directly from the fusion machine. We're not using battery power here for anything other than backup, but it's getting power directly from the machine, so you always have power. Also on the remote control over on the vehicle side for manipulating the track drives, we've got a battery charger built in to the machine, and an extra battery is supplied. So you'll never be without power on either your data logger or your remote control.
And something important is that you can keep, for those worry about somebody taking the data logger, you have a key box in the back, in the other side of the machine, where you can keep the data logger if the machine is overnight somewhere.
Yeah, you also have the functionality in the Android tablet of, think of a Find My iPhone type of function.
Oh, okay.
If it's lost or stolen, if it comes in contact with an internet connection anywhere, it can actually ping you and tell you where it is.
Cool.
Great. So next question, and again, repeat this. I'll just read the question as is. Can the system recognize or identify dummy joints? I'm not sure what the reference is there.
Can the system recognize or identify dummy joints? We don't have a dummy joint function built into the automatic feature at this point. We do have a training mode that will take you through a simulated automatic process, if you will. As far as logging the dummy joint, you can note that in the notes or the log of the joint that this was performed as a dummy joint, but there isn't a dummy joint function built into the software at this time. If that's something that's needed, we can certainly have that conversation offline.
Okay.
We have a Talon question, but I'm going to stay with iSeries for a moment. How does the iSeries go with fitting and short radius bends?
Well, for fittings, we've got a great improvement in this machine. One thing is, I don't know if you can see it, but down on the fixed jaw side of this machine, the cowling over the engine compartment is completely missing. It's just not there. So we have the ability to accept fittings on the fixed jaw side of the machine without taking the carriage off of the vehicle. We can easily remove this outer fixed jaw and attach fittings directly here in the inner fixed jaw, again, without coming off of the vehicle. We still have the functionality of removal of the fusion carriage in either 3-jaw or 4-jaw mode, when needed to get into a confined space.
Cool.
I don't know if that covers the short radius. There's a lot of variables involved with short radius fittings there that.
Well, Rafa, why don't you come over and read this? It's kind of lengthy, so rather than try to have Chris read it, if you'll read that one, that way that everyone can hear what you're reading.
Okay, with the increased use of PE pipe system with multi-layer, often exceeding standard diameters, 640 rather than 630, has anything been developed to allow the machines to accommodate the size rather than using a larger machine and bespoke shims to reduce the OD? Well, and we have in the audience with us Jim Johnston, which is our Chief Innovation Officer. I'm gonna let him add something if needed, but basically the machine, the TracStar iSeries is exactly the same, the 900 jaws and everything you have. If you have a special sizes, it's just a matter of an insert. So it's not a standard insert. We can prepare a custom insert. Jim, I don't know if is there anything else you can add on this? That Jim has access to a microphone.
Yeah, Rafa, you mentioned insert sizes. Since we are a global manufacturer, we already create not only metric insert sizes, but also iron pipe size, ductile iron pipe size, Japanese industrial standard, and custom pipe sizes. So we should be able to accommodate just about anything that you need, as long as it's within the scope of the overall jaw
and
profile.
This is something that we have done in the past with the company's Azure lining, PE lining inside metal pipe. But you back, Jim?
Yeah, I think I'm on. Can you hear me, Paul?
Yeah, it's a little quiet.
Okay. Yeah, so all the things that these guys have said are correct. Basically, it wouldn't be a bespoke insert in and of itself, as there's a lot of insert sizes that are already available. If you're also talking about peelable pipe, one of the procedures that is there is to peel that material back, and we can go through that on another call or directly with you to talk about how to peel that pipe back, and then how to replace that material on the pass forward. There's a lot of insulated pipe that's used around the globe, and so we do deal with these oversized sizes, and it's not something unfamiliar to us. So it's pretty standard.
Additional questions?
Yeah, there's one more here. This is a Talon question, and sales guys don't get excited yet, but the question is, what size will the Talon weld, and are there any in the machine, any such machines in the UK ready for hire? Somebody's got a job, I guess.
Well, we are ready anytime. I mean, you just need to let us know. Yeah, there is not. At the moment, we have 4 Talons outside. We have here in the US, we had one in Australia that came back. But yeah, we don't have anything in the UK now, but there is no problem for us to get one. We have one available that we use it for rent or for sale. And we also have distributors that have them available.
And size range on that. That was the first part of that question, was what are the sizes on the Talon?
Well, it got from 1,400 to 2,000, right?
Correct.
From 1,200 to 2,000.
Got it.
We did. We talked about, the question was, do we want to talk about the operator's console? And we kicked off with that, really, that being sort of the primary interface or dashboard for the operator that gives you constant feedback and communication between the carriage and the vehicle. It also tells you about many of the functions of the machine, the hydraulic system, the electrical system, the fuel system, scheduled maintenance requirements. And it also, if there's any fault detection in the machine, if you think of your car, for example, you might get a fault code reading. If you take the car, if there's something wrong with it, you take it to a dealer, they give you a code that really has no meaning. This will give you when a fault is detected, it'll actually give you a readout of what the fault is in readable language, as well as potential areas to look at on the machine to fix the issue. It'll say, hey, this isn't working. Check this, or check that. So it will, again, guide the operator or the technician through troubleshooting and repair of itself.
Here's another question that came in. So obviously there's a lot of standards already preloaded into the data logger. If there's one missing or somebody would like us to add one, can that be done?
Certainly it can be done. I think we have the primary standards for the UK already incorporated. The software logic that's currently in use in the UK and the McElroy machines has been fully incorporated into the iSeries. But if there's something custom or something that's not found, we would just need access to that standard and a little bit of time to get it integrated, and it certainly can be done.
Yeah, and we actually have done it. So, but yeah, for the UK, the GIS, the WIS are covered. Again, the Series 2 had it, and this one also had it the same way.
Hey, no other questions right now, unless there's anything you guys want to add. Anything from the gallery here at McElroy?
No, well, thank you so much. Thank you, Chris, Brandon, Malcolm in the UK. We apologize for a few issues at the beginning. We love the internet tools and all this, but we are more than ready to get out of the desk and go and visit you guys in the UK and Ireland, hopefully soon. Yep, I think that's all that we need to cover. We say hi to Keith Moll. We love you and we miss you. So
yeah, I'll add, we look forward to the delivery of the first units in the UK and Ireland.
We have one of these machines going to Ireland, hopefully sometime in July, to Irish Biotech. So Garrett is ready to put his hands on it and start showing these in the field. We are looking forward to be there and do a white glove delivery. And yeah, hopefully we see you guys soon. Okay, I think we are good. Thank you so much to the guild, Kate and Catherine. We appreciate the opportunity. I think that's it.